So today I'm going to start the workshop off with I'm going to discuss again indicators. Working with indicators or dealing with indicators that back paint, what's called quote back painting. Um, so back painting is when an indicator changes its historical results. So that's what I'm going to start off with, and I'll give you guys the opportunity to write in your questions as I'm talking about this. So, all right, let's see. I see some stuff coming in already. So let me just read through this real quick. See what questions we got here. All right. So if you look at the dots on the chart there, right, that is Ninja's swing indicator. So you can see at the top of the chart here, that's Ninja's swing indicator. So Ninja's swing indicator back paints, right? So you can see how the dots print all the way back to the low or the swing high, right? So no indicator knows exactly when a high point is going to be made. How would this indicator not know that this is going to be the high point versus this being the high point, right? No indicator can predict the future. And so what happened was the indicator kind of corrected itself historically, and I'm going to demonstrate that here. So all right, so you can do this with almost every indicator. So there's some indicators that are coded in a specific way where this test doesn't work, but I'm going to show you how to do a test. Right, so all I did was just slide my chart back a little bit historically, and the next thing you need to do is you have to disconnect from your data feed in order for this to work. So let me disconnect temporarily. So it's probably best, to do this test after the market is closed. That way you don't have to turn your data feed off during the market hours. Okay, so data feed's off, right? I moved my chart back, and now what I'm using is the arrow keys on my keyboard. So with the arrow keys, I can step forward one at a time. And before I step forward, we need to reload the chart, right? We need to reload the Ninja script. So F5 on the chart. Okay, now I can use the arrow keys and step forward on the chart. So let me shrink the chart a little bit. So you can see right now, right, there's that high point's not being marked. Right, so this high is not being marked yet. And let me step forward a couple more bars. As soon as I get to the 5th bar after that high point, it's going to get marked. So it's still not marked. There's no green dots yet. And all of a sudden, boom, green dots. So you see how all those historical bars got filled in, right? So it looks nice and pretty on the chart, but it's very illusionary. So so let me back up a little bit, and I'm going to refresh the chart again, right? So those dots are missing. So if you tried to use the swing indicator within Bloodhound in real time, right, those dots are not missing. In real time, the swing indicator is not identifying that as a high point, right? So this doesn't get identified as a high point until we get so many bars away. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So on the 5th bar after the swing point, that is when the swing point was identified. So there are a handful of indicators out there that will do this, just because it does look nice and pretty to do this. But when you're trying to kind of back test your idea, it gives you, the illusion that you will actually know where that high point is in real time. So there's, also another indicator that does that. Let me put on another indicator. So Dorshan's indicator that we included with Bloodhound, the swings indicator here. Let me add that on here. Alright, so that you can see the swings indicator. It's marking highs and lows points, and you can see it's marking the higher highs and the lower lows exactly on the bar. But of course, even this indicator doesn't know if this indicator doesn't know if that's going to be the lowest low exactly on that bar. Even this indicator has to wait for price to move a little bit before it can identify that as the actual lowest low. So let's see here. So we can see actually it marked that as the highest high. And let me step back a little bit. And I'm going to refresh the chart. Okay, so let's step forward here. So right now you can see the swings indicator is marking that as a double top. And then what happens? Oh, it's still a double top. And now price kept moving and it changed it to a higher high. So you can see, right, it marked it as a double top and then that double top disappeared. So the indicator back painted and corrected itself as time goes by. So right there, the indicator is saying that's a double bottom. And it just adjusted. So now it said the next bar is the double bottom. So you can see this indicator is constantly updating itself or back painting. And another one, back painting. So it just adjusted the double bottom to the next bar forward. Right? So you can see that you can't get a real solid answer out of this indicator. So you can't get a solid answer. So this indicator, if you use it in Bloodhound, Bloodhound's gonna tell Bloodhound, well, this bar. Let me stretch this out here a little bit. So let me just step forward. Okay, so we know, looking at this historically, right? That's our double bottom bar. But if Bloodhound was reading this indicator in real time, so let me refresh my chart again. So Bloodhound was reading in real time, so we got a lower low, and so this indicator, this swings indicator, would tell Bloodhound, well, this bar is a double bottom. And then the next bar goes by, and then the indicator is going to tell Bloodhound, no, well, this bar is also a double bottom. And then it's going to tell Bloodhound, well, actually this third bar here is also a double bottom. So in real time, this indicator is going to tell Bloodhound that all three of those bars are double bottoms. But you can see, as we look at the chart historically, what we see is that, well, just this one bar, just the last bar here, was marked as a double bottom. So these are situations to be aware of when using someone's third-party indicator. Being aware of if it back paints or not. So let's see, let's go forward. So we can see indicators marked a double bottom right there, and the double bottom moves up, and then it turns into a higher high, and then the double bottoms all disappear. So, and let's see, all right, so here we're getting to our higher high, and we know eventually NinjaTrader's swing indicator is going to mark that as a swing high, but not until several bars go by. See, look, already 4 bars have gone by and still no green dots yet on this high point until, well, okay, actually it's this one. So let's see, There we go. So 4 bars have gone by, and still that top has not been marked by the indicator. No green dots yet. And then we get to the 5th bar, and then all the green dots print. Right? Okay, so now that you kind of understand how these indicators are working, I'm going to demonstrate some things about how this is going to work in Bloodhound. And okay, so I removed the SI swing indicator. So I'm just going to deal with NinjaTrader's swing indicator here. All right, so let's see. Yeah, let me mark this high point, and I'll mark this low point here. And I'm going to scroll the chart back, refresh the chart. All right, so now I'm going to open up Bloodhound, and we'll see how this behaves in Bloodhound. All right, let me name it today's system. All right, the 19th already. And let's see, so we have back painting indicators. And let's see, yeah, I'm just going to do a simple test here. So I'm going to use a threshold solver to just tell me when the plots exist, when the plots are plotting. So let's see, so let's put the swing indicator in here. All right, so this is Ninja swing indicator, and so we're using a strength of 5. And let's see, so let's we'll generate a long output for the swing high, and for the swing low, which is the orange dots, I'll generate a short output here. And so I'm going to leave the threshold at 0. So what that's going to do is, if this plot value is greater than 0, then I'm going to get an output. So I'm going to set the long output, so greater than A, and remember A equals 0. So if we get a plot that's greater than 0, I'm going to get an output, and you can see I get an output here. And same for the shorts. So let me let's open this up again here. Right. So I'm using the swing high plot, right, which is the dotted green plot. That's the dotted green. So the swing high, I'm using that to generate the long signals here. So the long is checked. So over here for the long output, so I'm gonna get a long output when the swing high plot is greater than 0. Greater than 0, because A equals 0. And then if the swing low, I'm going to use the swing low to generate a short output. So if the swing low is also greater than 0, then I'm going to get an output. I'm going to get a short output there. So that's all I'm doing. So is I'm just detecting when the plots exist. So perfect. So actually look at this. So you can see right here, these last 2 bars, see how there's no long output, right? There's no long output, and that's because the green dots stopped, right? The green dots are no longer printing anymore. So the green dots don't exist, so therefore they're not greater than 0, right? So the swing high plot is no longer greater than 0 because it just doesn't exist on the chart anymore. And now the long outputs have disappeared. So that's all I'm doing, is I'm just testing to see if the swing high plots exist or if the swing low plots exist. So let's walk forward. So remember that this arrow is marking the swing high, and it hasn't printed yet. And you can see Bloodhound, right? Bloodhound, or I should say, right, the swing indicator is telling Bloodhound that there's no swing high yet because there's no long output, right? We're still missing that long output because the green dotted plot is still not plotting yet. So let's step forward. There's bar 4 and now bar 5. Now we can see the green dots show up. So now we've finally got our dots showing up on the 5th bar, and then Bloodhound also gave us, right, a long output there. So let's step forward. So remember, we've got a short, actually, let's see, actually this one isn't quite as good of an example because we still have the swing low plot is still plotting here. So, well, all right, we'll just stick with the swing high. This is giving us a better example here. So you can see, right, all the swing highs are missing here. Now, if I refresh the chart, you see how everything changes? Look how everything changes. So remember, all of these, there was a short output here. There was a short output here on all these points, and now there's gaps. So when I refreshed the chart, what that did is it forced Bloodhound and the indicator to calculate together at the same time, bar by bar. So effectively what that does is when you refresh your chart, that's the same thing. This is something that NinjaTrader does internally. So I'm getting a little technical, but what NinjaTrader does is, well, actually, hold on. Let's just put 1 day of data on the chart. There we go. So, all right. So what happens is when you refresh your chart, NinjaTrader starts calculating all indicators together bar by bar. So NinjaTrader internally just steps through each bar one at a time and calculates all your indicators, right? So the swing indicator that's being used inside of Bloodhound is not allowed to backpaint when NinjaTrader is calculating the swing indicator together with Bloodhound together. So they're both being calculated together on each bar one at a time. So that's a lot different than, say, if we're at, so we're at the end of the chart now, right? So all of this chart data, has all been calculated. And here, let me change to a 5-minute chart. There we go. All right, so that's the whole day. That's all the data on the chart right there. So all the data on the chart has been calculated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this solver, remove that solver. Okay, and I'm going to rebuild the solver again. So looking back at the chart, so you can see that the indicator, let's grab an arrow. Right, so the swing indicator has it has already backpainted, right? The swing indicator has been allowed to backpaint here. And since the indicator has been allowed to backpaint, Bloodhound, when you first add this indicator to your Bloodhound system, this indicator has already had the time to backpaint. So Bloodhound's going to read this indicator's backpainting. So it's going to read those dots there. So if, let me get back here. Let's connect this up. So I'm going to set the swing indicator in here again. Set this up. So I just rebuilt the indicator exactly as it was again. So let's just take a look at this point right here. So we can see, right, the indicator has had its chance to backpaint. And if we stretch this down, we can see that Bloodhound is, Bloodhound's being told, or Bloodhound's being fed this indicator's backpainted bars, right? So you can see we're getting a long output from Bloodhound on these couple of bars here. So let me mark this as well. Let's see. Yeah. Right, so since this indicator is already on the chart and the indicator has already calculated its backpainting, this backpainted data is being fed to Bloodhound, right? So this backpainted data is fed to Bloodhound when you add the indicator to Bloodhound for the first time. Right. Now, if I refresh the chart, Ninja's going to calculate Bloodhound and the swing indicator together at the same time. And so you're going to get different results now because the swing indicator won't have a chance to backpaint yet, as the swing indicator and Bloodhound are calculated together at the same time. So let's refresh the chart, and now you can see, right, this area here. Now the long output's missing, right, because NinjaTrader calculated the swing indicator and Bloodhound together. So, right, so there's a subtle difference in how things were calculated. So I guess the point is, if you got an indicator and you think that you should be getting results from Bloodhound, but you're not, it's a very good chance that your indicator is backpainting, right? So let me open up Bloodhound again. So if I throw a new threshold solver on here, and let's change this over to the swing indicator again, like so. Right, so even this new solver that I just added, right? Built a new solver with the swing, and we can see on the chart once again, right? This long output is back, and that's because the indicator has already calculated itself, or I should say, yeah, when NinjaTrader internally, NinjaTrader is holding on to these plots as we see them on the chart, and that's what and so this is the data that NinjaTrader is feeding to Bloodhound. So Bloodhound's being tricked into thinking that this indicator really did print, right, this swing high plots in real time, but really it didn't. So, but this indicator, remember we updated. Oh yeah, actually, you know what? Even this solver went back to being tricked into reading the backpainted data there. So now if I refresh the chart, now things are going to go back to the way they really would be if this data was calculated in real time. So now we can see this is missing. And let's take a look at this other solver here. Yep. So now both of these solvers, which both of these solvers are identical. They're both exactly set up the same way. But now both of these solvers have the swing indicator, plot data as if it was built in real time.